Let me ask you something. When does a betrayal become so disgusting, so calculated, so perfectly orchestrated that it makes your blood boil? When does a man sell his soul for power? Because what we witnessed on Raw last week wasn't just a heel turn. It wasn't just Logan Paul being Logan Paul. No, no, no. What we saw was the single most cowardly, opportunistic, snake-in-the-grass move in recent WWE history, and if you're not furious about it, you haven't been paying attention. Welcome back to Wrestle Scope, where we don't sugarcoat the truth, and we definitely don't let sellouts get away with rewriting history. I'm about to break down exactly why Logan Paul joining the Vision isn't just a storyline. It's a complete and utter insult to everything CM Punk stands for, everything we as fans believe in, and honestly, it might be the most genius piece of manipulation Triple H has pulled off in years. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. Hit that like button right now if you're ready for the truth they don't want you to hear. Let's set the scene. Last week on Raw, CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, the man who came back to WWE after a decade of being told he'd never return, is standing in that ring cutting a promo that had every single person in that arena hanging on his every word. He's talking about fighting the system, about how the Vision is everything wrong with corporate wrestling, about how guys like Seth Rollins are drunk on power while real talent gets held down. And then, it happens. The music hits, Logan Paul's music. The crowd erupts, but not in the way you'd think. There's confusion, there's anticipation, because Logan had been subtweeting about the Vision for weeks. He'd been posting cryptic messages about choosing the right side and real power recognizes real power. We all thought, every single one of us, that Logan was about to stand with Punk, that he was finally going to use his influence to fight against the corporate machine. But what does Logan Paul do? This fraudulent, clout-chasing, algorithm-obsessed excuse for a wrestler does the one thing that proves he was never about wrestling. He was always about Logan Paul. He shakes Seth Rollins' hand. He embraces the very system he pretended to criticize. And worst of all, he hits CM Punk with the most vicious brass knuckle shot we've seen in years, leaving the best in the world unconscious while the Vision stands over him like vultures over a carcass. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is what no other wrestling channel is talking about right now. This wasn't random. This wasn't just heat of the moment. Logan Paul joining the Vision was being orchestrated from the moment he stepped back into WWE programming 3 months ago. Go back and watch. I'll wait. Every promo, every social media post, every shoot interview he did was laying the groundwork for this exact moment. You know what the sickest part is? CM Punk trusted him. In an interview 2 weeks ago, Punk literally said, and I quote, "Logan gets it. He understands what it's like to be an outsider in this business. He knows what it's like when the machine tries to chew you up and spit you out." Boom. That quote aged like milk in the Arizona sun. Punk got played. We got played. And Logan Paul, he played us all like a fiddle because that's what he does. The man is a master manipulator who saw an opportunity to align himself with power, to guarantee himself main event spots, to secure that WrestleMania paycheck, and he took it without a second thought about what it meant to betray someone who actually believed in him. Now let's talk about why the Vision wanted Logan Paul so desperately, because this is where the story gets absolutely nuclear. Seth Rollins is brilliant, I'll give him that. He's a calculating, strategic mastermind who understands that the Vision isn't just about holding championships. It's about controlling the narrative. It's about having so much influence that you decide who gets opportunities and who gets buried. And what does Logan Paul bring to the table? 40 million followers across social media, mainstream credibility, sponsorship deals that dwarf most of WWE's roster combined. Logan Paul isn't just a wrestler, he's a marketing weapon. The Vision now has Seth Rollins, the architect, the strategic mind, Drew McIntyre, the muscle, the enforcer, Finn Balor, the wild card with Bullet Club credibility. And now, Logan Paul, the media mogul who can make the Vision trend worldwide with a single tweet. They're not just a faction anymore, they're a movement. They're corporate wrestling's final form, and CM Punk, the last bastion of rebellion, the last guy willing to fight the system, is now facing an army. Here's what makes this storyline absolutely brilliant and simultaneously infuriating. CM Punk is now in the exact position he was in during the Summer of Punk in 2011. He's outnumbered, he's outgunned, the entire machine is aligned against him. But here's the difference. In 2011, Punk had the WWE Universe firmly in his corner. We were all soldiers in his revolution. But now it's complicated. Because as much as we hate what Logan Paul did, there's a segment of fans, and you know who you are, who actually respect the move. They're saying, that's good heel work. They're saying Logan's finally embracing his role. They're defending the betrayal because it makes sense for his character. And you know what? That's exactly what the Vision wants. They want us divided. They want half the audience thinking this is brilliant storytelling, while the other half is ready to riot. Because a divided audience is an engaged audience, and engagement is all that matters in modern wrestling. But let me tell you what I think, and you can crucify me in the comments if you disagree. Logan Paul joining the Vision is the most cowardly move we've seen in wrestling since… Actually, I can't even think of a comparison. Because at least when other wrestlers turn heel, they do it for a reason. They do it because they're frustrated with losing, or because they're tired of being overlooked, or because they've genuinely changed their philosophy. But Logan turned heel because it was easier. He saw the guaranteed spot at WrestleMania, he saw the protection of being in a dominant faction, and he took the path of least resistance like he's done his entire career. This is a guy who scammed his fans with CryptoZoo. This is a guy who filmed a dead body in Japan's suicide forest for views. This is a guy who has built his entire brand on doing whatever gets him the most attention, regardless of morality, regardless of consequences, regardless of who gets hurt in the process. And now he's brought that exact same energy to WWE, and the Vision is enabling it because it serves their purposes. So where do we go from here? Because Raw is about to become a war zone. CM Punk needs allies, desperately. But who can he trust? Who in that locker room hasn't been corrupted by the Vision's influence? Who's willing to stand up against a faction that now has the full backing of Triple H and WWE management? I've got theories, and I'm dropping them right now. Theory 1. Cody Rhodes returns early from his injury, air quotes because we all know that storyline, to even the odds. Cody and Punk have unfinished business, but if there's one thing that could unite them, it's taking down the Vision. Theory 2. Sami Zayn finally grows a spine and realizes that the Vision is everything the Bloodline was, just with better PR. Sami's been too quiet lately, and we all know he thrives as an underdog revolutionary. And Theory 3. And this is the nuclear option. AJ Styles comes back with a new Bullet Club to counter the Vision's dominance. Finn Balor would lose his mind, and we'd get the faction warfare this company has been building toward for years. But here's the reality. CM Punk works best when he's alone against the world. That's when he's most dangerous. That's when he cuts promos that make grown men want to run through brick walls. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly where WWE wants him. Here's what I want you to tell me in the comments, because this is where we, the Wrestle Scope family, need to have a real conversation. Is Logan Paul's betrayal good for wrestling, or is it everything wrong with modern WWE? Because on one hand, we've got the most heat on a heel turn we've seen in years. People are furious. Social media is exploding. This is the kind of organic hatred that you can't manufacture. Except Logan Paul manufactures controversy for a living, so is it even real? On the other hand, we're rewarding someone who doesn't respect this business. We're giving a main event spot to someone who sees wrestling as a side hustle between energy drink launches and NFT scams. We're telling every young wrestler grinding in bingo halls and high school gyms that you don't need to pay dues, you just followers. And that might be the most depressing reality of modern wrestling. Look, here's the bottom line. Logan Paul joining the Vision is either the most brilliant heel turn of 2025, or it's a slap in the face to everyone who actually loves professional wrestling. There's no in-between. You either think this is genius storytelling, or you think it's the death of everything wrestling used to stand for. Me? I'm choosing to believe in CM Punk. I'm choosing to believe that this story ends with the voice of the voiceless dismantling the Vision piece by piece, starting with the fake influencer who thinks he can buy credibility with a handshake and a brass knuckle shot. But that's just me. What about you? Drop a comment right now telling me, are you Team Punk, or do you actually think the Vision is what WWE needs? And be honest, I want the real take, not the safe one. If this video fired you up, if it made you angry, if it made you want to argue with me, smash that like button because that means I did my job. Subscribe to Wrestle Scope if you want more unfiltered wrestling truth that the other channels are too scared to say. And hit that notification bell because when CM Punk finally gets his revenge, you know I'm going to break it down the second it happens. This is Wrestle Scope, where we don't just watch wrestling, we dissect it, we analyze it, and we hold everyone accountable. Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, The Vision, we're watching, and we're not forgetting what you did.